So, Marjorie Taylor Greene is not anyway. I mean, she is a very different thinking than I have. Something happened to her over the last period of a month or two where she changed, I think, politically. I think that her constituents aren't going to be happy. Already, I have people calling me. They want to challenge her to a race in her district in Georgia. And, that's too bad. She's lost a wonderful conservative reputation. But when she says, don't go overseas, if I didn't go overseas, we might be in a war right now with.
All right, folks, so it is official. As I discussed in a couple of community posts on my channel last night, Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene have officially broken up. No exaggeration, no hyperbole, it's done. The weeks and months of slow simmering rebellion by Greene against Trump has just boiled. And the whole thing is boiling over. Trump is not only criticizing her on camera, he officially unendorsed. He withdrew his endorsement of her. He's attacking her. She has fired back. It is official. Donald Trump and his strongest MAGA soldier, Marjorie Taylor Greene, are officially at war with one another, and we have to talk about it. But before we do, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we got another clip to play here, but Trump went to Truth Social and said this. He goes, I'm withdrawing my support and endorsement of Congresswoman, and he puts it in quotes for some reason, as though she's not a Congresswoman, even though she legally is. It would be like saying President Trump, right, and putting quotes around the president. I don't understand what that means. But anyway, he says he's withdrawing his support and endorsement of Marjorie Taylor Greene of the great state of Georgia over the past few weeks, despite my creating record achievements for our country, including a total and complete victory on the shutdown, closed borders, low taxes, no men and women's sports or transgender for everyone, ending DEI, stopping Biden's record-setting inflation, biggest regulation cuts in history, stopping 8 wars, rebuilding our military, being respected by every country in the world, as opposed to being the laughingstock that we were 12 months ago, having trillions of dollars, record-setting, invested in the USA, and having created the hottest country everywhere in the world from being a dead country just 12 months ago, and so much more, by the way. All of that is pretty much bullshit, as you know, because we fact-checked it along the way, so I probably don't need to digress here, but just for the record, note that he's lying his ass off. Let's continue. All I see is wacky Marjorie do is complain, complain, complain. It seemed to all begin when I sent her a poll stating she should not run for senator or governor. She was at 12% and didn't have a chance, unless, of course, she had my endorsement, which she wasn't about to get. She told many people that she's upset that I don't return her phone calls anymore, but with 219 congresswomen and men, 53 U.S. senators, 24 cabinet members in almost 200 countries, and an otherwise normal life to lead, I can't take a ranting lunatic's call every day. I understand that wonderful conservative people are thinking about primarying Marjorie in her district of Georgia, and that they too are fed up with her and her antics. And if the right person runs, they will have my complete and unyielding support. She's gone too far left, even doing The View with their low IQ Republican-hating anchors. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. So, yeah, it's official. The bridge is burned. It's gone. It's not just that they're butting heads. It's not just like they're tiptoeing around each other. It's official, okay? And we'll get to her response, but I want to play one more clip from Trump on Air Force One about this topic.
Mansion and cinema, they would have done it the last.
Would you be open to endorsing someone primarying Marjorie Taylor Greene given her latest statements?
Well, it depends on who runs against her. I mean, I'm no longer much of a fan because I disagree with her policy. When she said that, going to foreign countries, bringing back trillions of dollars is not important. Do you think I want to go and be on an airplane for 20 hours? Some of you were with me. 22 hours to be exact, travel and then get off and make a speech and get people to invest hundreds of millions of dollars in our country. I'd rather do it without having to go, but if you didn't go, you wouldn't be able to have that kind of result. As an example, Malaysia. If you look at Thailand, I stopped a war in Thailand and Cambodia. If I didn't go to that region, I probably wouldn't have been able to stop that war. That war would have been very costly in terms of lives, but even costly in terms of us.
So again, Trump is exaggerating the influence that he's had on quote-unquote ending wars and the investments. Again, total bullshit, but that's not the point. The point is this MAGA civil war. So that was Trump. Well, this is what Marjorie Taylor Greene had to say. She goes, Donald Trump just attacked me and lied about me. I haven't called him at all, but I did send these text messages today, and she's going to provide some screenshots of text messages. Apparently, this is what sent him over the edge. the Epstein files. And of course, he's coming after me hard to make an example to scare all other Republicans before next week's votes to release the Epstein files. It's astonishing, really, how hard he's fighting to stop the Epstein files from coming out that he actually goes to this level. But really, most Americans wish he would fight this hard to help for the forgotten men and women of America who are fed up with foreign wars and foreign causes, are going broke trying to feed their families, and are losing hope of ever achieving the American dream. That's what I voted for. I've supported Donald Trump with too much of my precious time, too much of my own money, and fought harder for him even when almost all other Republicans turned their back and denounced him. But I don't worship or serve Donald Trump. I worship God. Jesus is my Savior, and I serve my district GA14 and the American people. I remain the same today as I've always been, and I will continue to pray this administration will be successful because the American people desperately deserve what they voted for. For me, I remain America first and America only. And she provides 2 screenshots. The first one was to DJT himself. Check the flight logs of Epstein's plane. Bill Clinton's on there like 26 times. Hillary too. For many of us, releasing the Epstein files has always been for the women who were victims of Jeffrey Epstein, but also because we believe that Democrat bad guys like Clinton's were entangled and involved him. Epstein was the spider that wove the web of the deep state. Lean into it. So I just want to say here, before we go on, I want to be clear, Marjorie Taylor Greene is no hero, okay? She's certainly more heroic, I suppose, than Trump, who's trying to block the release of the Epstein files for nefarious purposes, but let's be clear. At least in terms of how she's trying to pitch this to Trump, she's like, hey, listen, let's make the Democrats the bad guys. You should lean into this. Again, I don't know if it's a cynical attempt to manipulate Trump into doing the right thing, or because, as she has demonstrated in the past, she really hates the Democrats, and maybe it's a combination of both. Maybe she wants to serve justice to the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, but she also still thinks that the Democratic Party is inherently evil and all these things, so she's trying to do that. I don't know what it is. All I'm saying is the only thing we should do is highlight and celebrate this MAGA civil war, not necessarily lionize or beatify Marjorie Taylor Greene herself. We need to continue to monitor her, okay? Then she says, in a text message to one of Trump's assistants, Natalie, and we only see the very end of what Natalie said, the Jeffrey Epstein hoax, so apparently they were bitching back and forth, right? Then she says to Natalie, in every single interview I've done, I've defended Donald Trump. I've said over and over again the women say he did nothing wrong, and their attorney says he was the only one who helped, and the Democrats had 4 years to release the files but did nothing. Stop ignoring the women. Many of them literally voted for Donald Trump and say so publicly. Them being raped as teenagers is not a hoax. Again, so it seems to be a combination of trying to manipulate Trump into doing the right thing while also trying to genuinely serve the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, but also trying to stick it to the Democrats. So she's walking a tightrope here. Then she posts, maybe it was my bill to get rid of the H-1B visas because Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of her little acts of rebellion against Trump, I shouldn't say little, but one of her instances of rebellion against Trump was to come out against him on the H-1B visa program, which has split the MAGA caucus basically down the middle. The big tech bros and tech billionaires that support Trump, they want H-1B visas because it allows you to import some of the best talent from foreign countries, which many of these companies, employ. Now, both on the far right and the left, right, even Bernie Sanders and AOC, they have their issues with H-1B visa programs because they believe that not only is it costing American jobs, but that these foreigners are being exploited. Okay, so again, some legitimate disagreements here, but much of the right doesn't want the H-1B visa program because they're racist and xenophobic. Okay, so again, this has been like the powder keg ever since Donald Trump ran for re-election because it was basically the Elon Musk wing versus the Marjorie Taylor Greene, Steve Bannon wing. And Trump has gone back and forth on this, but he seems to have settled more on the Elon Musk tech billionaire. Yeah, we need to have the H-1B visa program. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, struck out in defiance against him. She's like, maybe that's what pissed him off too. Then people are pointing out Trump is now posting screenshots of tweets slamming Marjorie Taylor Greene. Your political future just ended. Hope it was worth it. Sellout. I'm from a district similar to yours. Massey's, in fact. I know my family, friends, and I cannot wait to vote against Massey. I bet many of yours feel the same. Don't pretend it's just about the files. Others are doing the same, and we're fine with that. You've literally been all over the map since he told you the truth. You're not built for the Senate, and you never will be. And just going on and on and on. Again, I want to point out, she absolutely would have lost the Senate, which is why I wanted her to run. It would have taken her out of Congress, and it would have allowed John Ossoff, the Democratic incumbent, to just soundly defeat her. So, I mean, Trump was right to say you're going to lose the Senate, but as we've been talking about, she is quite pissed about that. She has taken it personally. But I think that's only part of her motivation. Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna said, Are you planning to unendorse every MAGA Republican who votes for Thomas Massey's bill and my bill, Donald Trump, on Tuesday to release the Epstein files? We could be in for a long week. And that's right, because reportedly, dozens of Republican congresspeople, even though they didn't support the discharge petition is going to make it through, and they don't want to be on the record basically voting against the release of the Epstein files because they know the polling on it. So the idea is they're going to try to save face. They're going to try to have it both ways, not piss off Donald Trump by saying, hey, I didn't vote for the discharge petition, but the discharge petition is here and it's political malpractice to not vote for it, so I got to vote for it. Ro Khanna says Trump might be issuing a lot of these posts. Then Marjorie Taylor Greene sends a message this morning. She says, good morning. I want to thank everyone who texted and posted and commented support for me. You all are so kind, and I appreciate, love, and support you too. I never thought that fighting to release the Epstein files, defending women who were victims of rape, and fighting to expose the web of rich, powerful elites would have caused this, but here we are, and it truly speaks for itself. There needs to be a new way forward. The toxic political industrial complex thrives on ripping us all apart, but never delivers anything good for the American people, whom I love. The PIC tells us to hate each other, fundraises off why we have to hate each other, and pits Americans against each other to the point of violence and nearing civil war. This is all so wrong. We can have our own differences and differing opinions, but we can still love and respect one another. We have far more in common than we have apart. I believe in the American people more than I believe in any leader or political party, and the American people deserve so much better than how they've been treated by both sides of the aisle. The only way forward is America first, America only. AFAO, I guess? And that might be the most dangerous pursuit of all. We're going to get into some of the reactions real quick, but again, I just want to be clear. I don't want to sanitize, launder, or beatify or sanctify Marjorie Taylor Greene. She has contributed much to the very circumstances she's now complaining about. She was Donald Trump's strongest MAGA soldier, an anti-Semite, a conspiracy theorist, an election denier. She was just the worst of the MAGA movement was embodied in how she behaved for many, many years. So she has to, if she's really on a genuine road to redemption, she needs to reckon with that and be called out for it. She should apologize to both her supporters and to the American people and to Democrats. I mean, she also referred to the Democrats as an evil party of groomers and pedophiles on camera on 60 Minutes. I mean, the shit that she has said about 50% of this country is truly wild, okay? And again, I think that there are a mix of motivations here. I think she is pissed off at Trump. I also think that she's sincerely fed up with the disappointments of Trump. I think she's thinking about her political career in a post-Trump world, and she recognizes she's going to have to moderate a bit. I think all of these things are playing a role, but let's look into the reaction here from Twitter. Sam Stein of the Bulwark, wow, Trump dumps MTG, what a night. Laura Loomer, of course, is celebrating because she and Marjorie Taylor Greene used to be friends, but now they hate each other. Trump calls for Greene to be primaried. He said he'll endorse a challenger. Should I move to Florida? Or excuse me, should I move to Georgia? I told you all this was coming. So maybe Laura Loomer will challenge her. Evan Kilgore, conservative. Trump just attacked Thomas Massey for getting remarried recently after his wife tragically passed a year ago. Oh, that's a separate thing. We should talk about that separately, though. Johnny Maga's responding, OMG. Eric Dodery talking about this as well. Let's see. Laura Loomer again taking a victory lap. Yeah, so looks like a lot of the Massey responses too are getting in here. Marjorie Taylor Greene hasn't said anything that the everyday people haven't been saying for months. She's parroting her constituents, which is her job. This is stupid. Tim Pool, LOL, these past weeks have been so fucked. Gunther Eagleman, he's stunned by this. So yeah, folks, people are definitely reacting. This is a big, big deal. The MAGA civil war has just taken a massive escalation, which I think is good for this country because a disunified MAGA is much less dangerous than a unified MAGA. And yeah, we should definitely pop the popcorn and pop the champagne. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.